Imagine a land locked in ice, where glaciers carve jagged valleys and the wind howls over barren rock. This is Scotland, 12,000 years ago, at the tail end of the Ice Age. No clans, no kilts, no castles, just a frozen wasteland where survival is a daily battle against nature's wrath. Yet beneath this harsh exterior, a story is being written in blood and bone, one that will echo through millennia. A new discovery has shaken the foundations of what we thought we knew. The massive altar stone at Stonehenge, a monument that has stood for 5,000 years, didn't come from Wales as we believed. It came from the wild, rugged north of Scotland. This revelation is just the beginning. Hidden in the DNA of modern Scots are secrets of forgotten peoples, dark-skinned hunters, mysterious warriors, and seafarers from distant lands. Their genes have survived ice, invasions, and time itself. Why does Scotland's blood tell a story unlike anywhere else in Europe? How did these ancient lineages defy extinction? Buckle up for a journey through prehistoric Scotland, where stones whisper, bones speak, and the past refuses to be buried. If you're ready to uncover the mysteries locked in your own DNA, hit that subscribe button and join us as we decode the ancient world, one bloodline at a time. Picture this. It's 10,000 BCE. The ice is retreating, leaving behind a scarred landscape of rocky cliffs and newborn rivers. Scotland is waking up. Forests of pine and birch creep northward. Deer and boar roam the valleys, and fish swarm in the swelling streams. Into this primal world step the first humans, small bands of hunter-gatherers, following the herds from what we now call continental Europe. These aren't the Scots of folklore. They're not Celtic, not Viking, not anything we'd recognize as Scottish. DNA tells us they had dark skin, piercing blue eyes, and curly hair, a striking combination that dominated Western Europe in the Mesolithic era. They lived in fleeting camps along rivers and coasts, crafting flint arrows and bone harpoons, hunting with precision, and leaving behind traces we've only recently begun to understand. Sites like Cramond and Oronsay, scattered along Scotland's edges, reveal their story. Piles of fish bones, flint blades, and charred hearths paint a picture of a people who thrived in small, tight-knit groups. But it's their DNA that truly brings them to life. In remote highland glens and on windswept Hebridean islands like Skye and Lewis, geneticists have found something astonishing. Traces of these ancient people still flow in the blood of modern Scots. How? Scotland's brutal terrain, its mountains, bogs, and island strongholds, acted like a genetic vault. While Europe's heartlands was swept by waves of conquest and migration, these isolated pockets preserved the genes of the first pioneers. This phenomenon, called genetic drift, means that in places like the Isle of Eigg, you might meet someone whose DNA carries echoes of a hunter who stalked deer 10,000 years ago. But why does this matter? These early settlers weren't just survivors, they were the foundation of Scotland's story. Their genes are a testament to resilience, proof that even in a world of ice and starvation, humanity found a way to endure. As we'll see, their legacy would face challenges that reshape the land and the bloodlines forever. Fast forward to 1500 BCE. The Stone Age is giving way to the Bronze Age, and Scotland is no longer a quiet backwater. A new people arrive not with swords or armies, but with something far more powerful: pottery, metal, and a genetic revolution. We call them the Beaker folk, named for their bell-shaped clay vessels etched with intricate patterns. They come from the heart of Europe, lands we now know as the Netherlands, northern France, and Germany. They bring bronze tools, new ways to farm, and burial customs that leave towering mounds across the landscape. But their real impact? It's in the blood. DNA studies show the Beaker folk didn't just settle in Scotland, they transformed it. Within a few centuries, their genes replaced up to 90% of the male lineages in Britain. Imagine that. The bloodlines of the dark-skinned hunters who had survived for millennia were nearly erased. But this wasn't a slaughter. It was a slow, uneven blending, marriages, cultural shifts, and new ways of life. The Beaker people brought farming to a land of hunters, permanent villages to a world of wanderers. Their DNA surged, but in Scotland's wild corners, the old genes clung on. In places like the Orkney Islands, where sea and stone isolated communities, the Mesolithic bloodlines held their ground, mixing with the newcomers but never fully disappearing. This genetic upheaval is mirrored in the stones themselves. The altar stone at Stonehenge, we now know, was quarried in northeastern Scotland and hauled hundreds of miles south. Why? Was it a sacred symbol, a gift between tribes, or a marker of Beaker dominance? We don't know for sure, but it tells us these people were connected, trading ideas and materials across vast distances. Their world was bigger than we imagined, and their legacy reshaped Scotland's soul. By 1000 BCE, Scotland is a patchwork of tribes, farms, and stone circles. The Bronze Age has given way to the Iron Age, and a new enigma emerges: the Picts. These northern warriors, known to the Romans as the Painted Ones, carved strange symbols on standing stones: serpents, crescents, and mysterious beasts. They fought off invaders, lived beyond the reach of empires, and left no written records. For centuries, we thought they were outsiders, a mysterious race that vanished into history. But DNA has rewritten their story. Burials in places like Ballantor and London Links reveal the truth. The Picts weren't invaders. They were locals, descendants of the Mesolithic hunters and Beaker settlers who had been in Scotland for thousands of years. Their genes show a mix of ancient and newer bloodlines, forged in the crucible of Scotland's rugged north. By the 9th century, as Gaelic culture spread from the west, the Picts didn't disappear. They blended in, adopting new languages and customs but leaving their DNA behind. Today in the Highlands, you can still find traces of Pictish blood, carried by people who may not even know the legacy they hold. The Picts remind us that history isn't just written in books, it's etched in stone and blood. Their symbols, scattered across Scotland's hills, are a silent testament to a people who stood their ground against time itself. The Iron Age fades, and by the 1st century CE, a new power looms: Rome. The Romans called Scotland Caledonia, a wild frontier they could never fully tame. They built Hadrian's Wall, forts, and roads, but their legions, drawn from Spain, Syria, and North Africa, left more than stone. Some soldiers settled, married local women, and introduced faint traces of Mediterranean and Middle Eastern DNA into southern Scotland. These genes are rare, but they're there. A whisper of an empire that stretched from deserts to moors. Then came the Vikings. In the late 8th century, longships sliced through the northern seas, bringing Norse settlers to Orkney, Shetland, and the Hebrides. Unlike the Romans, the Vikings didn't just pass through, they stayed. They farmed, traded, and intermarried, leaving a genetic imprint so strong that up to 60% of male lineages in Orkney today are Norse. Their influence stretched beyond DNA, shaping place names, clan structures, and even the fierce independence of Scotland's Northern Isles. These foreign threads, Roman, Viking, wove new patterns into Scotland's genetic tapestry, proving that even a land of stone and ice was never truly isolated. By the medieval era, Scotland's clans were rising, names like MacDonald and Campbell becoming synonymous with power and pride. But DNA has revealed a twist. Many clans weren't families at all. The MacDonalds, for example, include dozens of unrelated male lines, united by allegiance rather than blood. Others, like the Campbells, trace back to a single ancestor, their genes tightly knit. This mix of biology and loyalty shows how Scotland's people adapted, using clans to survive wars, famines, and shifting politics. Yet the land itself kept secrets safe. Islands like Lewis and remote glens preserved DNA from the Mesolithic, Bronze Age, and Norse eras, untouched by the mixing that homogenized much of Europe. These genetic time capsules make Scotland unique, a place where the past lives on in the blood of its people. To make this ancient tale feel real, let's meet some modern voices, living reminders that the past is not lost, only living quietly inside us. Take Fiona, a fisherman's daughter from the Isle of Skye. When she took a commercial DNA test in 2023, she expected to find a mix of Celtic and Norse ancestry, perhaps even traces of Irish or English roots. Nothing unusual for someone born in the Hebrides. But what she found shocked even the geneticists. Unique genetic markers linking her directly to Mesolithic hunter-gatherers who roamed Scotland over 9,000 years ago. These markers were so rare, so deeply buried in time, that only a handful of people on Earth still carried them. For Fiona, it changed everything. Her island walks suddenly felt like reconnections, not strolls. She could now picture vividly an ancient woman gathering shellfish on the same rocky shorelines, her blood still pulsing in Fiona's veins. Then there's Angus, a school teacher from Orkney who joined a genetic heritage project out of curiosity. His results revealed a staggering 70% Norse ancestry, evidence that his ancestors likely arrived with Viking settlers more than 1,200 years ago. That lineage wasn't just genetic, it was etched in the landscape of his island home, from the Norse place names to the longhouses buried beneath grassy fields. Angus said he finally understood why the sagas felt personal, why the sea always seemed to call louder than the land. And don't forget Maria, a third-generation Canadian whose Scottish grandparents had emigrated from Caithness. She took a DNA test to honor her late grandmother's stories of the Highlands. But what she uncovered was far older. Her mitochondrial DNA, passed down through mothers, traced directly to remains found in a Pictish burial site not far from her ancestral home. For Maria, it felt like reaching across time, grasping the hand of a woman who had lived, loved, and died in a world of carved stones and painted warriors. These stories aren't just data points on a map or lines in a report. They're bridges across millennia, reminders that the past walks with us, carried quietly in the blood of ordinary people. Scotland's story didn't end at its rocky shores. It sailed. From the 18th century onward, waves of migration transformed this ancient land into a source of global influence. The Highland clearances pushed thousands from their ancestral homes. Potato famines emptied entire villages, and wars sent young Scots to distant battlefields. Many fled not by choice, but by necessity, boarding ships bound for the Americas, Australia, New Zealand, and beyond. Today, more than 25 million people worldwide claim Scottish ancestry, and for many, that legacy is written not just in names and tartans, but in their very DNA. Modern genetic testing can do more than say, "You're part Scottish." It can reveal exactly where, from a single island like Islay to a secluded glen in the Highlands. Some tests even distinguish between Norse-influenced Shetland DNA and Gaelic-dominant Western Isles ancestry. These regional genetic markers are so distinct that they function like a biological postcode, tying people to places their families haven't seen in centuries. Even more astonishing are the outliers. Subtle traces of DNA from North Africa, the Middle East, or Central Asia that surface in Scottish genomes. These markers whisper of Roman soldiers stationed in Britannia, of Phoenician traders bartering in ancient harbors, of enslaved people brought north, or crusaders returning with foreign brides. Though they account for tiny percentages, they serve as a powerful reminder that no land is ever truly isolated. Scotland's genes form part of a larger, intricate weave, a global tapestry stretching across continents and centuries. In the end, the story of Scottish DNA is not just one of clans and kilts. It's about connection. It tells us that the migrations, meetings, and minglings of our ancestors never disappeared. They simply became us. And every one of us, whether in Glasgow or Manitoba or Auckland, carries a thread in that ancient, unbroken weave. As we stand on the edge of Scotland's ancient glens, surrounded by stones that whisper of forgotten tribes, one truth shines through. Our blood remembers what history forgets. Scotland's DNA is a saga of survival, a testament to people who faced ice, invasions, and oblivion, yet left their mark in our veins. The lesson? We are all part of a deeper story, one that stretches back to the dawn of time. So take a moment to wonder, what secrets does your blood hold? If this journey through Scotland's prehistoric past sparked your curiosity, hit subscribe for more tales of stone, bone, and blood. Share your own DNA discoveries in the comments. What piece of the past surprised you most? And until next time, keep chasing the mysteries that make us who we are.